Welcome, everybody, to the Assuminati Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Turkey for you.
Keep going.
Oh, he stopped. Turkey for me.
The famous Adam Sandler turkey song. Adam Sandler in the flesh, everybody.
Let's eat the turkey in my big brown shoe.
Wow, you jazzed that up. We got to send that to
Love
SNL.
To eat the turkey at the table.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Well, I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the Assuminati Podcast. I'm thankful for this episode because 'tis the season. It is November 2021. Yeah. It is time for my personal favorite holiday, Thanksgiving.
Yum, yum.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
Who
you
doesn't love Thanksgiving?
Love Thanksgiving. Okay, so Thanksgiving, let's give you just a quick rundown for all of you people unaware of some of the history. We're going to talk about some of our favorite things you did not know about Thanksgiving. So we're going to we're going to do some deep dive for you. Maybe we'll uncover some controversy, maybe a little conspiracy. That's what we do.
That is what we do.
Not just about the food.
Exactly. Although that's usually the star. So way back, take a trip with me back to 1620. We're going way back. A small ship named the Mayflower left Plymouth, England, carrying about, I think it was a little over 100 people of religious separatists.
I heard Plymouth rocks.
You've heard correct.
I thought Cleveland rocks.
Okay, Drew Carey. This is something else. So they were seeking a new home where they could freely practice their faith, among other things. And so They set off. They landed in what we know as Plymouth Rock, or the Massachusetts area. So this would be, as far as what we're talking about, Thanksgiving later, about a year later, 1621, the colonists, the Native Americans, the people native to that area in the autumn, held a harvest fest, I guess you could say, and dubbed it a Thanksgiving-type event, and got together. And ever since then, there's been some kind of commemoration or celebration of those two groups coming together, helping each other survive to the best of their abilities, and we celebrate that today with many, many traditions that we'll talk about some of those today. We'll talk about some of those traditions. George Washington, some of our early founding fathers understood this was an important tradition to commemorate, but it wasn't made official until Abe Lincoln. So Abe Lincoln, I believe it was 1863, 1864, right in the middle of the Civil War, Abe Lincoln dubs this an American holiday, an official celebration. And then ever since then, go ahead.
Do you know why he did it?
Tell us, Robert.
Well, have you ever heard the song "Mary Had a Little Lamb"?
Yep.
She was a big deal, yeah.
The lady who wrote that song is actually responsible for Thanksgiving becoming an official holiday. So even though the Continental Congress had declared the first Thanksgiving in 1777 as like a holiday, people fell out of the custom in the early 1800s. That's when Sarah Josepha Hale came along. As I said, she's best known for writing Mary Had a Little Lamb. She petitioned not just one, but several presidents to make it a national holiday, and it actually became one. She finally succeeded in 1863 when President Lincoln issued a proclamation.
Hell yeah, she did.
That's right. I think it took her about 36 years, from what I remember.
Long time.
36
She was devoted to that cause.
The mother of the Thanksgiving holiday we know today. Awesome.
Yeah.
Got old Abe to do it.
For her.
And then presidents since then have messed with the day or attempted to mess with the day, some of it in reaction to the shopping holiday. Even as early as the 1900s, they recognized how important this shopping season is for businesses, and they've petitioned to have it moved earlier to extend the shopping season.
It was like with FDR, right?
FDR, yeah. And there was opposition to that for tradition purposes, as well as you don't want that other president to win. You don't want him to get a win, a W.
Well, I heard he was compared to Hitler for his decision to move it to the second to last Thursday in November.
Yeah, you don't mess with that. You know what I'm saying? People get real emotionally involved.
Yep. If that other person's on the other side of the aisle, we're gonna fight whatever he wants. So
yeah. Did you know that when he did that, some states refused to acknowledge it, but then there was other states that really capitalized on it, and they had both holidays. They just did Thanksgiving twice in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was about half and half, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. 2 Thanksgiving.
22, 24. Yes.
Exactly.
The one for FDR and the one for, nostalgia.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Speaking of nostalgia, so we've talked a little bit about where Thanksgiving came from. What was Thanksgiving to you growing up or even now? Robert, Bobby, you want to start us off, Uncle Bobby?
Yeah. I mean, for me, Thanksgiving is all about the food and the gluttony. And when I was a kid, I remember we'd come together as a whole family. We'd set up a huge long table in my grandparents' basement, and all the cousins came, and all the aunts and my grandma would cook all day, and the men would watch football, and we'd eat, and there was pie and everything. So now as I'm older, most of the time I host Thanksgiving for the parts of my family that I enjoy being around, and I let the others go off to their in-laws, and I put on the biggest feast. Smoke the turkeys. Oof. I make the pie.
Preach.
I make all the fun side dishes, and then I have leftovers for a few days, and it is absolutely amazing.
I guess like 80% of Americans value the leftovers over the Thanksgiving feast, the original feast.
Because it's so
something like that.
That type of food just heats up so well. And we're going to do a food episode a little bit later on this month, where we'll really focus on. Sounds like what's Bobby's favorite part of Thanksgiving. Matt, what was Thanksgiving for you?
Well, I have really bad childhood memories of. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Thanksgiving for me was always about getting together with the family, the cousins that we never saw, that kind of thing. We would always have this church house that my aunt was able to somehow always get every Thanksgiving.
That's cool.
And we would meet there because our families are huge. So we would have hundreds of people at this gathering place, and we would just kind of get together, play some basketball in the what do they call that? The cultural hall.
Cultural hall.
Yeah. Nice. Play some ball, eat some food. Some of it kind of gross, but we'll talk about that on our next food episode.
There's some really creative things.
Yeah, there are. And we definitely had some of that. But those were my memories of it growing up. Since then, being married, it's been more about kind of cooking our own food.
Okay.
Going up to the in-laws, maybe watching some football and resting. And that's been our tradition as of late.
Love football. And that's where that's what I remember growing up was football. Growing up in Michigan, we'd watch Barry Sanders run for his life on the Detroit Lions. They'd usually lose. We'd eat a bunch of turkey, eat our feelings, I guess you could say.
That's a tradition in and of itself.
We'd go up to my great-grandma Gehrig's farm, I guess, in the middle of Michigan. And my Mennonite family would sometimes come. So they'd be dressed kind of differently, and I'd get to meet people I hadn't seen in years and eat just food and meet my dad's cousins. And yeah, it was my favorite holiday, still is, because of some of that cool tradition.
Food, family, and football, baby.
Food, family, football. Oh,
and
baby.
Naps.
So that's awesome. So it sounds like this is a favorite holiday. This is at the top of the list, at least. Maybe not the favorite like mine, but at least it's something that really hits home. It triggers a lot of nostalgia for you.
Yeah, so I love Thanksgiving. It's my second favorite holiday.
Behind Valentine's Day.
Halloween.
Oh, Halloween. Okay. Matt, do you have a number one?
Believe it or not, my number one holiday is Independence Day, followed probably by Christmas, and then maybe Halloween, and then probably Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving will always be my number two.
Pause for effect. Okay.
And did you know the day after Thanksgiving is one of the busiest days for plumbers?
Okay. So let's
know that. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because of the number two holiday of Thanksgiving.
Let's flesh out some of the details here on some of these traditions, maybe some of these facts that maybe not too many people know about.
Stinks.
It could use some cleaning.
Way to move away from that.
Speaking of movement, so Robert, Why don't you start us off? I mean, you already did. You gave us a little fun fact there about the day after Thanksgiving being the busiest day of the year for plumbers. What else you got for us? What's another favorite fun fact of yours for Thanksgiving?
Here's something I learned today, actually. Thanksgiving at one point was a lot like Halloween. And can you believe the audacity of this? But parents would dress their kids up like beggars and homeless people and take them to downtown New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and they would act like poor people on Thanksgiving. And so it was so popular, they nicknamed it Ragamuffin Day. Like, how disrespectful is that?
What?
I think we should reinstitute that.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, Robert, but
I know. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that you were subjected to that.
Survived. Toughened him up.
I had no
character.
That's a new fun fact for me. I didn't know it was imitate the homeless, assimilate their
back in like the 1910 to 1915 area. Yeah.
Just rude.
Okay, early 1900s, turn of the century, maybe. Okay, times is tough.
And then go home and have a feast.
And then you go cash in. Yeah. Wow. Any other little fun facts? That's blowing my mind. I gotta look up more info on that.
Pretty uncool, man.
I'll leave you with that one for now. I got some more I'll bring in.
Cool. Matt, you got one?
Yeah, the originally Thanksgiving was supposed to be a fast, not a feast. You guys probably read up on this.
I didn't know that until today when I read up.
I didn't either.
Hit us with it, man.
Yeah. So let me just read this to you real quick because he can explain it a lot better than me. This is this history professor, Ken Albala.
Okay.
Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Albala. It was in the San Francisco Chronicle. He said a Thanksgiving was a practice with a far different intentions and traditions that gluttonous feasts we associate with the holiday today. In fact, the event we point to as the first Thanksgiving wasn't even called as such. An actual Thanksgiving was an occasion for the pilgrims, specifically the more pious Puritans among them, to gather in a communal day of fasting and meditation, to give thanks for a beautiful harvest and reflect on how to improve upon their shortcomings as individuals.
Sounds like the first Sunday of every month.
It kind of does.
And it sounds like we really took the opposite approach there, didn't we? As far as how we celebrate.
Well, we sure screwed it up.
I'll show you fast. I'm going to eat 4,500 calories.
I'll show you. That sounds like a challenge. America.
Right. America.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
A fast turns into a feast.
It's kind of like, though, it's kind of like Halloween, right?
Okay.
A little bit. I mean, I don't think Halloween is its original intention either, but
definitely not.
I don't think it is either, but the candy's fun.
Yeah, commercialize anything, right?
Yeah.
Love
That's
it.
what we do. It's the American way.
That is so American. So American. That's why I love the holiday. To me, Thanksgiving's almost as patriotic as July 4th. I think it's right up there. I know that Canada actually has claimed that they did it first, by the way. I don't know if you guys stumbled upon that. Maybe we can dive into that a little bit deeper. One of my favorite fun facts was about the Macys Thanksgiving Day Parade. Do you guys ever sit down and watch that?
Sometimes.
When you can catch it.
I've got a little fact for you. Preston was in the Macys Thanksgiving Day Parade a couple years ago.
Stole my thunder, but it's your thunder to give here, sir. I wanted to really promote Preston and his accomplishment of making it into the Macys Day Parade. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Davis High School marching band, baby.
That's a big deal.
Back in 2018, awesome. Probably.
I watched it.
Yeah, we were fans. Yeah. And that's such a cool tradition. I mean, it's pretty early for us in the Western Mountain Time Zone, but I remember growing up in the Eastern Time Zone. It was that's what you did when you woke up on Thanksgiving. Is you turned on the parade. The fun fact that maybe not many people know about. So when it began in 1924, Macys Thanksgiving Parade did not have giant balloons. That was tough to pull off back in the early 1900s. In fact,
they hadn't invented helium yet.
They paraded live animals. That was a tradition. We're not talking.
They slaughtered them at the
We're
end.
not talking dogs, cats.
That's what they ate.
And cows here. We're talking elephants, tigers,
wow,
giraffes, all on loan from Central Park Zoo. So they would empty the zoo and parade them down the boulevard. What do you think of that?
I can't see how that could ever go wrong.
I know. I can't believe that. They didn't come up with the hot air balloon idea until 1927, so it wasn't too much longer. Maybe something happened. Maybe a little tiger got loose. Felix the Cat was the first official balloon, 1927, and then it blew up from there.
So do you know how at the end they used to just release all those balloons up into the air, and then they would pay $50 to people who would find the balloons, bring them back?
Huh, I wonder who
Wow.
floated that idea.
I don't know. But joke was on them. When they would raise high enough, they'd just blow up in the atmosphere, so they couldn't reuse them.
So it just
Load off.
so
Yeah.
that idea fell
They
flat,
just
I guess.
blew off some steam.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. Live animals from the zoo. Are you kidding me? That's so 1920s America, if I've ever heard something. So,
Mhm.
and then yeah, they eventually did the balloons. Those are super fun for the kids to see and to watch. I thought it was pretty neat. Let's throw it over to Robert for another fun fact.
Well, you know, Adam Sandler felt bad for people because there wasn't a Thanksgiving song, so he wrote one, right? And it was really good. But did you know that was not the first Thanksgiving song?
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a song named Jingle Bells?
Yes, indeed.
Lay that on us.
Yeah, Jingle Bells was originally written for Thanksgiving. So back in 1850, a guy named James Lord Pierpont, he was at a tavern in Massachusetts, and he was just so inspired about the town's famous sleigh races. So he sat down at the piano and started knocking out the tune. It was a hit. And it wasn't until later that somebody slightly altered the lyrics to sing it around Christmas.
Wow.
And Thanksgiving was robbed of its original tune.
And if the name James Pierpont sounds familiar, it's because he's the uncle of J.P. Morgan.
Really?
It's true.
Oh, small world.
What a family that
story.
is.
The uncle of John Pierpont Morgan, or J.P. Morgan.
Wow. Like to be at that Thanksgiving dinner. Golly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
apparently
bet
he was poor.
Gosh.
The guy that wrote Jingle Bells was poor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
That is a fun
Who knew?
fact. I didn't know that until this week either, Robert. That's a great fun fact.
It is a
Jingle
fun
bells.
fact. Good job,
Jeez.
Robert.
Well done.
So, did you also know, contrary to popular belief, it is not turkey that makes you tired?
It's the tryptophan, isn't it?
No,
it is the
turkeys are getting a bad rap.
they are.
With all this talk about tryptophan.
They don't have any more than chicken or
No more than chicken or a
or
duck
goose.
or a
Yeah.
goose. So, do you know what makes you tired on Thanksgiving?
Eating too many calories, probably.
Doctor said it's the carbs.
Yeah,
Carbs.
the
Yeah, carbs.
Is that what it says?
Carbohydrates
Mm.
that you just ate. And did you know the average American eats 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving Day?
That's
ridiculous.
That's like a baseline.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's on the low end of what I eat on Thanksgiving.
That's
I
for
just don't count.
That's for breakfast.
that's the first
Yeah.
plate. Yeah.
That's warm-ups.
Well, I mean, if you
now?
take in the average of the children, it probably is 4,500.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
It's before halftime. Okay.
All right.
That's-
And my
that's a lot.
last fact. Do you guys know the history of why presidents pardon a turkey?
I've never looked deeply into that. I kind of know the history of when some of that stuff happened and why. I've never really looked into why. Why don't you hit us with that?
I actually don't know why. I just wanted to make sure we brought it up.
Cool.
But it was originally, so everybody thinks it's been going on forever. And while Abraham Lincoln and JFK had shown mercy to some turkeys to set them aside for slaughter, it didn't become an official tradition until George H.W. Bush started in 1989. And ever since then, there's been a turkey pardon on Thanksgiving, with the exception, I think there may have been one president since then that skipped a year. But it started with George H.W. Bush. And here all along, I thought it was going on since Washington.
And I know Reagan did it a few times, but I think you're right. HW made it official, and okay.
Mhm.
You know,
Wow.
46 million of those turkeys aren't so lucky.
46
Yeah.
million.
What are the odds?
That's how many turkeys are consumed on Thanksgiving. Another
Yeah, that's
22
just
million
my
on
house.
Christmas.
And I also read that the average
Transville.
American, the average U.S. citizen eats over 100 pounds of turkey a year. Are you guys in that category?
I eat quite
No.
a bit. I usually at Thanksgiving, I buy like 4 turkeys. I put them in my freezer, and then I like to smoke them at odd times through the year.
That's interesting.
We maybe have one for another meal throughout the year, but it's pretty rare.
I'm not hitting 100 pounds of
You
turkey.
shouldn't eat it rare.
Yeah.
Why not?
The USDA would ask you to cook it to 165.
It's okay. It's better rare.
And then I thought for sure.
I'm not endorsing that. Please cook your turkeys.
Go at 140.
Serious. I thought for sure we'd be number one in the turkey consuming category. We're behind Israel, of all places.
They like their turkeys.
Israel, they per citizen about 125 to 128 pounds per year. I couldn't believe that. How many turkey subs are they eating at Subway, man? I don't know how else. That just must be a part of their cuisine. I guess I'll have to look into that.
That is real.
Yeah.
Israel.
So, speaking of turkeys, do you know how the TV dinner was invented? So
All
in
good
1953, somebody screwed up at work. A guy who worked for the Swanson place, he made a mistake and he ordered an extra 260 tons of frozen turkeys.
Oops.
But he recovered, like, of all the workplace snafus, this guy recovered, and he had to figure out what to do with them because it was taking up 10 refrigerated train cars. And so a salesman from the company, they decided to prepare and package the turkey with sides in these little aluminum trays. And Swanson sold 5,000 TV dinners in 1953. And the following year, they sold 10 million.
Whoa.
You got to give the guy credit. His name was Jerry Thomas.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mr. Thomas came up with the TV dinner. Good job, buddy.
So do you know how much the first TV dinner cost?
Let's see if my article says. No, probably 25 cents.
98 cents.
Oh, 98. All right. Back then, that's
53. Yeah, that's still kind of
not the cheapest. Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, no.
Minimum wage was
that's the
below
turkey
that, I
dinner.
believe. So,
And that would have
Swanson's
made
still
Benjamin Franklin proud.
expensive.
Because do you know he wanted the national bird to be a turkey?
yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Not a turkey.
wouldn't have been bad. It's pretty American.
I wonder if that would have saved the turkey from being eaten, because I haven't ever heard of anybody eating a bald eagle.
Not legally. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had one. So,
It may have been done, but just not legal.
America.
yeah. That's some of the other little fun facts I ran across the night before. So Thanksgiving Eve is the biggest drinking night of the year, statistically.
You got to
For sure.
pregame that. crap.
Definitely thought it would be New Year's or St. Patrick's Day, but no, statistically it is Wednesday night, right before Thanksgiving, for that 4-day weekend for a lot of people.
Well, you want to know what keeps me from drinking the night before Thanksgiving?
Tell me, Robert.
I just chose not to hang out with relatives I don't like on Thanksgiving. No longer need to drink.
No longer need to drink. So I just had one final fun fact that I want everybody to know about. I'm going to spread and preach the gospel of the Detroit Lions, however wrong people may think it is. So the Lions, I don't know if you've noticed this, people have turned on your TV on Thanksgiving, but the Lions have been playing every Thanksgiving since 1934.
Always.
1934. Football can be traced back all the way to 1876 on that day, by the way. But I'm a Lions fan. We used to watch Barry Sanders run for his life, entertain us while we were stuffing ourselves with the first round of turkey and gravy. They played the Bears for the first time in front of 26,000 people and lost, of course. They took an L. And also, as kind of a tradition, you wake up early, watch the parade, and then you watch the Lions lose. That's usually how it went for us. Once in a while, they'd pull it off, though, and that was a good day. You'd get a little A little extra on your plate that day.
It's always the Lions or the Cowboys.
And then the Cowboys came a little bit later as America's team for ratings. Absolutely. The Cowboys have played every year as well. So
It used to be the Cowboys and the Washington football team every
The Washington football
every year.
team.
that's
Yeah.
right.
You know,
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. Little local, little Michigan trivia there.
All right. Thanks for listening. Today we talked about all the weird things you didn't know about Thanksgiving, which is Brandon's favorite holiday. It's my number 2 holiday, and Matt didn't rank it. But we
was
all
fifth.
love the
Fourth.
food and the traditions of Thanksgiving. So hope you enjoyed it. Coming up soon is going to be an episode on food for Thanksgiving. So make sure to come back, but like, subscribe, add some
Share.
comments, share with your friends, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Yes.
Turkey for you.
Love to eat turkey, cause it's good. Love to eat the turkey like a good boy should.
Yeah,
My
we
sweet
talked
daughter
about
just
this
brought me
last
some hot
week.
chocolate.
What?
Can you believe that? She
You got
brought me some hot
you got a barista in your
I
house?
do. She's right here. Yeah.
Oh, look at her.
Does she deliver?
Anyway, to Grantsville? Nope. It's just outside of her scope. So is Stansbury, if you're asking.
Mhm.
I love hot chocolate.
I think you should try and pronounce it. Controversy.
Probably the Wampanoag. Wampa.
Ooh, I bet you that's it. Wampanoag. I'm gonna say Native Americans.
Wampanoag.
I'll say Native Americans.
Yeah.
Wampanoag about
call.
Thanksgiving.
Come on. That's awesome.
From Alexa today that told me I'm in the top 10% of users because I asked Alexa so many questions.
I don't know if you should be proud of that.
Yes. No, here it is. You are an Alexa power user. You are in the top 10% Alexa users based on
embarrassing.
number of questions asked. Keep up the good work and click here to hold on. It went away.
Are they
To
training
learn
you?
more about what you can ask. I'm always asking Alexa to chime in on my conversations.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure does help me.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.